What does all of this imply for another region of the world in a conflict that we're currently embroiled in Iran? Do you believe that the Iranian venture is coming to a successful conclusion, or are we mired in another forever war there?
Well, what we certainly don't have at this point is, a bright line between, before and after. What we have is 14 points, kind of like Woodrow Wilson's 14 points, I guess. And we have maybe an end to the shutdown of the Straits of Hormuz, although one has to take the temperature of that every 5 minutes. It would see, presumably we will have discussions on the nuclear issue
Ad infinitum.
We have we state that they've agreed to the return of United Nations inspectors. They say not. What's happening above the surface or below the surface is hard to say. It's pretty hard to come up with a scenario where we return to bombing Iran. I think, especially as we're 4 months away from elections in the United States.
Are Israel's apprehensions about this memorandum of understanding justified?
Well, any time your fate is decided by another country without reference to your interests, they're not at the table. They have every right to be worried in that sense. Israel has always given, Iran like the highest priority. I certainly, any discussions I've had with the Israelis over years, like any diplomat has, Iran always comes up very, very close to the top of their agenda. This, to the extent this is unwinding, it's their great goal, which was some kind of regime change. Well, that's not on the table at all now. Now we're talking about deconflicting cells in Lebanon, which there's some reason on their part to be suspicious. This is about tying their hands without necessarily tying Hezbollah's. So yeah, they've got some real concerns. You can ask whether moving into Lebanon the way they had was ever such a great idea to begin with, and that's a debate that I'm sure the Israeli electoral process will engage in.